Hello and welcome to Don's FSD Challenge. I'm Don Burke, and FSD is Tesla's full self-driving capability. Today we're going to grade run number 2 of the FSD Challenge, which was undertaken on Christmas Day 2019, just after the release of 2019.40.50.1. In this run, the main focus is on documenting the new visualization features released with this capability. This is the first indications we're seeing of how things will work for medium speed roads, or otherwise known as city streets and suburban roads. Today we'll see what that looks like. At the moment, we don't have any additional functionality in terms of how the car will actually drive. And just as a reminder, as context, this challenge is designed to cause FSD to fail, but in general, it works quite well in most scenarios, especially when on road trips, and it definitely makes driving safer all the way around. So keep that in mind as we watch where it struggles. As a reminder, the challenge loop is 100 miles long through Virginia, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. Here you see where those 23 challenges reside, and you can watch an entire video, which I'll link below, that describes the whole route. I learned this just before this trip is that the best way to mitigate this lane change problem is to use the correct on-ramp, which is not the one we're on, but all of the routing software brings us this way. So let's just see how we do here. Set our speed limits. So good. One more. 2. Oh, not quite. Closer, but still not able to do it on its own the full way through. Challenge number 3 here, it does well again. There's no traffic, so it's hard to judge if the new lane changing behavior would be able to deal better with merging traffic. We will undoubtedly see that as we move forward. Navigate on autopilot ends on the off-ramp, and I'll just drive around and navigate to the return for challenge number 4. That's certainly not in the skill set, and will be one of the last things we see navigate on autopilot or full self-driving be able to accomplish. As we approach the end of challenge number 5, we have to merge into I-395 North. That requires a lane change to the left, but once again you see Gracie jink to the right when the lane widens, and she struggles to make the lane change. Although this time she's able to pull it off because there's not much traffic. All right, we'll see how she does on challenge 6 here with a little bit of traffic, well, just minor traffic. First we have the lane split right here where Gracie usually doesn't do very well. Let's see. little less bad than normal. Still not quite what a human being would do to make it nice and smooth. In FSD mode here, you'll see that on the map that Gracie knows the route to take. That is the right route down and underneath the Memorial Bridge. But while in FSD, she stays in the right-hand lane here, which exits down into the Pentagon parking lot. Actually, it eventually ends and it goes down the parkway towards the airport. And she will never get out. She'll just sort of stay right here. I'm going to go ahead and leave it right to the last second so you can see that in action. Again, the lane to be in is the middle lane where that Corolla is. All right, we got the line indicators indicating that this lane is now going to end. No effort to move over whatsoever, just none at all. So I'm just going to break out. So that's definitely a routing failure there. And here we have our nice little joins here. What I recently discovered is you can be in an FSD mode all the way around here. By staying in the left lane there, she has to go right to that merged lane. It's really unclear to me what she would do there if traffic didn't allow her to go in. It's doesn't really act like the car knows there's a merge there. All right, now we'll get our first look at the new visualizations in the city driving as we move around to challenges 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, as we enter here, notice that it will be able to see the turn lanes, the turn signs on the ground, and the traffic lights in front of us. The traffic lights indicate whether they're red, yellow, or green, and we see that it's red at the moment. Again, it's doing a great job catching all the lights. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It had 6 there for a minute and it blinked away. I'm just going to break out because I know it can't do this, and I'm not going to risk any of this. Just catching the light, that's good. All right, I'll run in autopilot as much as I can through here. I'm just going to leave it in autopilot here. We haven't had to brake out because there are cars in front of us. It's slowing down and it'll come to a stop, and now we'll see what it does on this jink. All right, see what happens here. Yeah, doesn't know what to do, having to brake out. Just would have went just like, what do I do? Even though there were other cars there to follow, it didn't know what to do. Again, notice no lane markings here. Have to brake out. Follow everyone through here. They join in as a merge. Managed speed pretty well through there. And now it's just really slow getting going here. As we make the exit onto Cabin John and the lane split to 2 lanes, you'll notice Gracie once again struggle with the lane split. She jinks left and right and makes a final hard jink once she figures it out. Gracie stayed in this second to left lane all the way around the top end of the beltway. I eventually just decided to move over manually. It's clear that this software doesn't see any lane except the far left lane as the fast lane. I'd sure like to see it naturally slide over to the right lane or second to the right lane. Again, I hope we can see on the camera that this does, in fact, describe this as the route to take to 66. We are not using some kind of weird route that you wouldn't expect nav to use. We're back in autopilot for this, and as soon as we get back in here, it'll probably drop back in. Yep, back in FSD. So again, you see the routing it's using here is just not what a local would do at all. Technically, what it's done here will work. It will take you where you want to be, but it's not how people would normally go out this way. For some reason, the routing just doesn't seem to know about this little connector that takes you right onto 66. Let's see if we... Still doesn't know where it is. I'm just having to continue to basically drive because it just totally gets lost through there. It doesn't know where it is. The roads are so dense there with some roads above and below and running parallel and beside. I think it just doesn't know where it is. As we approach the Dulles connector, we can see that the map and routing software wants to take us in the right direction. But Gracie's still staying in this lane and has no intention of moving out. So I will eventually here just manually intervene and execute the lane change to get us over into the lane that'll take us on to the connector. At this point, routing can take back over again. But this is clearly a gap, another in several on this route where the routing software just doesn't know how to get you into the right lane. All right, we're coming up to the main Dulles toll booth. I'm going to just let it do its thing here and see what it does. I'm not going to intervene unless it becomes a safety issue. Traffic isn't too bad, so it shouldn't be bothering too many people. All right, let's just see what happens here. Does it slow down at all? No one else is slowing down. Staying in FSD. Staying toll booth detected. Stayed in FSD the whole way through. Holy cow, now what do we do? Got a Mercedes behind me. I've got a lane here. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? All right. Well, there you go. I wasn't expecting that. All right, here we take the exit. Let's see what we do here. Should nice and start slowing down. 200 feet. Transitions back to autopilot, as one would expect. Slowing down some more. Let's see where she'll go. I want the right lane, but I'm gonna brake out there. Next time I might just let it go through the left one. They both work the same. You don't have to use one or the other there. Once again, we see all the signage on the road. That's actually what's there. That's actually what's painted on the road. And we see the white stop line, and we see the two traffic signals. So really nice job on that front. It knows exactly what it needs to do there, and that's exactly what we want to do. All right, I'm going to go into autopilot again. As a reminder, this I don't consider autopilot part of FSD. Tesla doesn't consider it part of FSD, but I'm just going to run it in autopilot whenever I can just to see how it behaves, as autopilot is the precursor to navigate on autopilot. So oftentimes what you see in autopilot is how navigate on autopilot will react or function once it is enabled, for good or bad. Again, we've got this, so I'll have to break out because we can't, autopilot doesn't know about the traffic lights, so I break out there. Well, this is interesting. Oh, look at this. We got bikers letting, a guy letting the bikers through. It does not see any of the crossing things yet. That's interesting. All right, we're coming up to the traffic circle in a little bit here. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to, with this new version, I can supposedly slow autopilot down to almost zero, so I'm going to try that. So here we go. You see it straight up ahead here. All right, I got no traffic behind me, so I'm just gonna slow it down here. Supposedly I can bring it down to almost zero. 15, 10, let's see if we can do it. Just using the accelerator a little bit. Nope, it's totally lost. Still can't quite do it. Even coming down to zero, it can't do it. Okay. And we got nice visualizations of everything here. Let's see this one. Oh, that's interesting. You can even see this very poorly marked version is still being registered correctly on the dash cam. Very nice. Right turn here. Okay, and then I'm just don't really see anything else. All right. No. Let's see if autopilot will do any better this round. Again, trash cans in here, it can see. I am in autopilot. I'm going to have it just going slow here. No one's behind me, at least at the moment. So what's it going to do here? Ooh, that's close. It missed it, but not by much. We have the here's the stop sign. We see it visualized. Of course, I have to break out. I'm in autopilot. This doesn't work. It doesn't take actions yet. But we have the cones, and that's nice. The cones and the traffic stop sign. Very nice. can navigate on autopilot. All right, let's see if we can make it all the way to the cloverleaf for the supercharger. The exit lane that they want that she wants to be in really early, which in city traffic can cause lots of problems. Oh, here we go. So this is a good example. The car says you can't be next to the cone, so I'm going to move over, and then she's like, no, you need to be in that lane for the route, so I'm going to go right back again. Here we're coming up to the Bladensburg Bridge, which is under construction. Gracie doesn't know what to do here because the lanes diverge, and so she begins to change her speed, even though there's no need to change that speed. So she causes a traffic disruption, and I intervene to just get the speed back up. But this is a great example of situational awareness, needing to maintain speed when things aren't exactly as expected. So there again, some interesting things happen with speed management. So it dropped me back to 55, even though I have it set to allow 5 over, and it will never go back, so I have to intervene again. As we merge onto I-495 northbound here, the right 2 lanes will eventually disappear. Gracie here will move to the left 1 lane to be in a good lane for the future exit. But we see this SUV in front of us. He will have to eventually come over into our lane, but he waits till the last second. But Gracie is aware of that. You see that she started slowing down just a little bit to allow the merge in. And again, this is an area where the current navigate on autopilot is really just exceptional. Entering I-495 south, unlike other cars merging in, the full self-driving suite still struggles when it itself has to merge on. Here we see it start making the move after an extended period of time, and then the lane becomes wide because the 2 lanes are merging, and it jinks back and forth. It made it, but it's not the way anyone would really drive. Jeez. We are now approaching the I-695 bridge where we will need to exit right. You can see that Gracie wants to make the lane change into the right-hand lane. We see the upcoming lane change on the map and the pulsing line on the right-hand lane. But we're also moving faster than traffic, and so she can't slot in. She's going to try up here a couple of times, and here we go. And so she could have got in there if she had adjusted, and she could also get in this next slot here, but she is unable to do so. So she's going to cancel that request. She's going to just keep going, and she's going to keep on trying. However, it doesn't look like she'll make it through, so now you can see the cruise control indicating that I've been on the accelerator, and I'm going to accelerate up to an open spot and then manually make the lane change over. So this is an interesting example where even when it tries to move early, it might still have difficulty in making that change because it can't be aggressive enough. In this upcoming scenario, Gracie can see that the cars right in front of me are slowing down or are slower than we are, so she'll move to the left. I think she can use her radar to sense that change in gap, and so she can predict that and act pretty elegantly. However, in a few seconds, we'll have the opposite happen. So we have cars in front of us that are slowing down, so she wants to move over, but she couldn't detect the rapidly approaching car behind us, so she started a lane change, had to wait, and then there's yet this other SUV that had to get out of the way, and then she's able to make the change. All in all, she still did a nice job with all of this, but it does show the difference between forward and reverse sort of changes in velocity. We go straight through here and then we turn left. So, yeah, see, it's way too long. It's still stopping, but it could have been a lot smoother there. That's a good example where it just really wish the car would react a little more quickly once the car in front is out of the lane. It's not terrible, but it's just way slower than human beings react, and everyone behind you is kind of wondering what you're doing. 16, yeah, oh, that's just, again, way too light. Let's just see. All right, we're going to try to summon the car to me at the beginning of FSD run number 2. Let's see how it goes. Thank you for watching the highlights of run number 2. It's now time to grade the run. A quick look at the top level stats. We see that we completed 7 of the 23 challenges, which was a little better than run number 1. We completed about 73 miles of the 100-mile loop on FSD, which is pretty remarkable when you think about it. And the longest stint was about 33 miles in FSD. 12 interventions, 6 breakouts, no phantom brakings. Overall, I'm going to give the grade you see here a D+, mainly because there remain a number of challenging areas. Merging into traffic from on-ramps is still a struggle. There are speed management issues galore, both in terms of it slowing down when it shouldn't, not slowing down when it should, for changes in speeds on the highways and things like that. And overall situational awareness of lane management and dealing with different flows of traffic are still difficult. And I'm grading from the perspective of the car driving itself, not as a driver aid. This is supposed to eventually be able to drive itself in the robo-taxi, so it needs to be able to do that. So I'm grading on a pretty hard curve for that reason. And overall, the new visualizations are really cool. Can't wait to see them put into action. And we should see those hopefully sometime soon. So again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and anything you can do to help share the news of the channel would be awesome. And please leave a comment if you liked the video. Over and out.